right, chapter 15 and 16 worksheet. Chapter 15 is based on correlation. Go back to the lecture, listen to the first 10 minutes of it if you want to understand exactly what correlation is. This video is going to be for how to do all the computations that you will be tested on. So compute the correlation coefficient R. 4 young children were monitored closely over a period of several weeks to measure how much they watch violent television programs and the amount of violent behavior toward their playmates. So we're going to see if there is a correlation between these two variables. So the way you do that is you plot your x values here. The x values is going to be the first variable. You plot your y values here. Y value is going to be the second variables. So 9618, 9618, 14, 8, 16, 12, 14, 18, 6, and 12. And then you just get the mean of these four numbers. The mean equals 10. I just put it there. Obviously, this row added up doesn't equal the mean, but I just put that there to keep everything organized. By now, we should all understand how to get the mean of a set of four numbers. So you take the deviations from the mean. So 14 minus 10, 8 minus 10, 6 minus 10, 12 minus 10. You square those deviations and you get the sum of squares, right? We've done that. So that's the sum of squares for TV hours. Then you do the same thing for Y. So you're basically using inside this chart is the definitional formula for value X and value Y. And you have to use the definitional formula when solving correlation this way. And you'll see that on the last step. So you do the same thing for Y, plot the Y's, get the mean of Y, get the deviations of Y's, square the deviations of Y's, add the deviations of Y, and it's 38. All right, so a new step that we haven't done is solving for SDP. So it's the sum of the deviation products. And it's exactly what it sounds like. These are the deviations, right? X minus MX, that's the deviation of X from the mean, and Y minus MY, that's the deviation of Y from the mean. So you're multiplying 4 times 3, negative 2 times 0, negative 4 times negative 5, and 2 times 2. You do that, you get the sum, you get SDP. Then all you do is you plug this into this formula, SDP divided by the square root of SSX times SSY. And the square root of SSX times SSY is 38.99. SDP is 36. 36 divided by 38.99 is 0.92. 0.92 is a very strong relationship, and it's going to be a positive relationship. So to say it in regular words, the more TV hours the child watched, the more violent television TV hours the child watched, the more violent acts, the more acts of aggression they showed toward their playmates. All right, so I'm going to do one of each of these. Just go and practice. Use the same steps for number 2. All right. Now we're going to go right off those TV hours and acts of regression. Same question for regression. So on your test, these questions are going to be combined into one question. So what's the first step in solving for regression? It's filling out the table that we just filled out. So we're not going to go over that. Now we're going to go to how we get the slope. So the first thing we do is you do SDP divided by SSX. 36 divided by 40 is 0.9. Solve for the A-intercept. It's the mean of Y minus B, which is slope that we just solved, times the mean of X. So plug everything in the way I wrote it out. 6 minus 0.9 times 10 will come out to a negative 3. Write the linear prediction rule equation of the regression line. All right, so that is going to be Y hat, which is the predicted Y, equals BX plus A. So all you have to do is plug in B and A. So Y hat equals B at 0.9x. And then it's plus A, but what happens when a plus and a minus are next to each other? it's like saying a positive times a negative. So it's minus 3. And you can also look at it as, forget about the sign. Whatever a equals, whether it's a negative or positive, is going to go right after the x with its sign. And then number 5, find a predicted y hat for an x of 5, right? So we are predicting acts of regression for a given x value that represents hours watching television. Enter the x value into the regression formula. So we're going to find, we're predicting acts of regression from 5 hours watched of violent television. Coming from the above data set, and we're making a prediction based on the previous data. So when you plug in 5 to the formula, you'll get 1.5. All right, number 6, fill out the table below to figure SS error using the prediction rule, show y hat computations. So again, the same thing we just did above, we're going to do that same step for all the original x values. So we're plugging 14 in that formula, 8 into that formula, 6 into that formula, and 12 into that formula. All right, SSY right here, we're going to need it for the final formula we use. We don't solve that here. I'm just writing it here, as I explained in the lecture. We get that from the above data, the first table we filled out. All right, but we need it, so I just put it there so we have it. So if you're doing it the same exact way I do it, just take it once you solve it when you get to this step and just put it there. All right, so you're going to get your y, and then you get your predicted y. So after you plug all these numbers into this formula, everyone should get these numbers. And then all you do is y minus y hat. So it's basically the original y's minus the predicted y's that we get from our equation. And we do that, and we get an SS error of 5.6. So now, use SSY and SS error to compute the proportionate reduction in error. So that the formula for that is SSY minus SS error divided by SSY. All right, so you simply just plug those values in. 38 minus 5.6 divided by 38 equals 0.85. Now the proportionate reduction in error can also be viewed as r squared. All right, so, and another way we could use this 0.85 to make a claim on how good this prediction line is we could say we could be 85% confident that it will give us an accurate prediction. All right, again, I did one for each question. Just use the same steps and follow along with the worksheet and practice that way.